How is porn addiction not a more talked about issue? I've been reading posts about it, and I'm starting to think I've been a porn addict since my early teens. I know a lot of other guys too, who I'm sure are addicted. Before I started heavily abusing it, I had zero expectations and such a strong sex drive. I'd be fully erect, just sitting beside a girl in my teens. And now I'm 30 and have trouble maintaining an erection while inside someone. I would hang out with girls just for their company. And now it's just to try and have sex, just for the sake of having sex. Porn has made me so toxic in relationships. I just want to go back to the guy who enjoys the company of others, rather than a guy trying to bang the hottest freak he can. I met a girl and have been so busy trying to impress her that I haven't had time to watch porn and obsess about sex. I think I'm going to give it up completely. Reddit Opinion 1. Even as a teenager, it can be problematic. There's the usually accurate belief that at 18, men are wild sex machines with overflowing testosterone that makes them ready to spring up at a moment's notice. However, watching porn daily definitely was a problem when I started my first relationship, where I would have consistent sex. I'd find it hard to be aroused once sex started and would lose my erection inside of my partner. I thought it was a medical issue until I decided to stop watching porn and masturbated only to pictures. I found my sex drive and arousal increased drastically thanks to having to visualize fantasies during masturbation rather than watching them play out with actors. And I realized my issue was mental. Cut porn out of the equation. It helps. Reddit Opinion 2. There's very little research on porn addiction, and many people argue it doesn't exist. Also, I believe porn addiction is so widespread that it is normalized. If most men are compulsively masturbating to porn daily, then that becomes the baseline and people trick themselves into thinking it is normal. You will see quite a few of these guys in the comments, I'm sure. Reddit Opinion 3. I think guys first need to figure out whether they have a porn addiction or a masturbation addiction. Last year, I went 2 months without masturbating, which made me realize I'm not addicted to doing it. However, about a month in, if I remember correctly, I wanted to watch porn so badly. The only way I could pretty much watch porn without masturbating was to edge. It worked for another month until I gave in. I'm now almost 3 days clean of both. I'm not hell, bent on quitting masturbating as I am with porn, but I'm going to try a new system for myself, which I'd recommend to others if you're not sure if you're addicted to porn. Go as long as you can without masturbating before you need to do so. Once you've decided to do it without porn. If afterwards you don't feel the need to watch porn, I'd say you're not addicted. However, if the feeling is still there, well, you know the answer. Reddit Opinion 4. I'm with you, man. I'm 27 and recently got with a girl for the first time since my ex about a year and a half ago. I used to get hard from just making out, but now I have trouble getting it up at all. And this girl is starting to feel like I'm not attracted to her, which is absolutely not the case. I watched porn and jerked off on a nearly daily basis when I was single, and I'm starting to think it rewired my brain. I'm done with the crap. Reddit Opinion 5. Porn addiction has ruined my life. It has ruined how I view women and made it nearly impossible to block out intrusive, disgusting sexual thoughts about women I respect and cherish as close friends. It has made time management and committing to a routine 10 times harder than it should be. It has sunk me into depressive spirals of guilt and hopelessness. The criteria I need to be satisfied with a relationship, with romance, with sex only rise, and the only thing that can make me feel something is the artificial highs of pornography, as the real world grows more boring in comparison, and I find it harder to find satisfaction in healthy interactions and relationships. If there were a button I could press to get rid of all porn from the world, I would press it in a heartbeat, not just for myself, but for the millions of young men, of curious children who unknowingly walk into the biggest trap this society sells to you. I don't care how many porn stars say the industry is healthy and educational. Because for every well-paid model, there are 100 desperate, vulnerable women who set up a camera as a last resort and sell their bodies online just to have hot meals and have no choice but to do something humiliating and looked down on. Because it sells. I don't know how to stop. I wish I had been more responsible when this all started. Listen to my conscience and never slip down this slope. Do not be fooled. Knowingly or not, porn warps your perception of sex, romance, and relationships, of women, especially if you are a man. I just want my life back. I want to sleep with a clean conscience for the first night in years, but I don't know where to go from here. If you don't believe me and watch porn regularly, try it. Reddit Opinion 6. Because most people watch porn and they don't want to admit it can be bad for them. Probably also the reason why everyone said it's impossible to be addicted to marijuana. Yet I have friends who freak out if they go a day or two without smoking. Edit. I'm not attacking cannabis users or porn users. I've done both in the past. All I am trying to say is people can become dependent on really anything that gives them a dopamine hit, and it can negatively affect their lives. Just because you can't suffer the physical withdrawal symptoms of addiction doesn't mean you can't be addicted or dependent on something. Reddit Opinion 7. I tried to make a post about how my boyfriend's porn use was damaging our relationship and causing issues with his erections, and so forth, and I got downvoted to oblivion. I was told that it's not an issue. It was an issue, a huge issue, for many reasons. People just don't want to admit something that they don't want to find fault with. Porn addiction is a very real thing, and they need to conduct more studies on the subject. People can get addicted to anything, and they best believe that porn viewing induces dopamine release. It activates the reward system in our brains, the same reward system that is activated when people abuse substances, or anything else for that matter. It causes all sorts of potential issues in our brains as well. Reddit Opinion 8. Please, if you are in a relationship or want a girl to feel like you want her, stop watching too much porn. I get it. Though it's nice to watch something crazy and have a moment with yourself. She might feel like she has to compete with acrobatic take it up the ass girls, and most ladies aren't like that. My last relationship didn't work. After all, he never wanted to have sex because he jerked off so much, and I wasn't a triple D. So it didn't do it for him, even if we did have sex. Not watching it helps you realize how normal all body types are because you look at people for them instead of the boobs or how small the waist is. I also felt like he was cheating kind of in a way because it was only other girls that got him off, and it just didn't feel right. Reddit Opinion 9. Because the porn industry dumps millions into making sure the idea of porn addiction doesn't spread too much, and funds studies showing it's totally harmless, even though I'm not a huge NAFAP guy. Once I opened my eyes to the porn industry, I realized how manipulative they are, just like other addictive industries. I shouldn't have been surprised, but as an early 20-something, I grew up with tons of memes and stuff that portrayed porn in a humorous, if not outright positive, light. It made it seem okay to masturbate as much as you wanted without mentioning any possible side effects. It's just sad taking advantage of young male sex drive. Reddit Opinion 10. So I've had a few stints of giving up porn, and then hopping off the wagon a few times. My most recent streak, which is current, is about 2 months without it. I'll still get some urges, but I've been trying to hold them back. I don't masturbate daily usually, but I'll have stints where I do for a while. I really hate how it is practically normalized in culture, and how prevalent its use is among young males, being that they have the entire freedom to look up what they want on the internet. Not to say it shouldn't exist. This sense you get of instant gratification, and the way it conditions your brain's reward systems is very bad. 1 second, you'll get an itch by being horny, and you'll instantly want to look up porn. I wish I knew how it worked better, but I'm no psych expert. It has affected me as well over the years. almost to the same extent as OP. And I'm only 22. This post is entirely relatable to me, and I'm assuming most men. I think it needs to be an issue that is more talked about. Reddit opinion 11. So happy to hear you're thinking about cutting it out. Chances are this girl would appreciate that. My boyfriend has been done with porn for a year now, and even though he isn't interested in it anymore, it's taken me a long time to feel sexy in front of him. And I'm still working on this because I know how porn has subconsciously conditioned his standards and preferences. I hope that, in time, he'll see me as being more attractive than he does now. He loves me dearly, but I know that seeing thousands of naked teens has lessened my effect on him in a way, making me seem tame and sweet and lackluster, like I'm a good choice, not the exciting one. Again, working on it. Big kudos to you for stepping back and becoming aware that it's coloring your perception of women and killing your real-life intimacy. Reddit opinion 12. I'm glad this is being talked about and discussed. Porn addiction hurts both men and women. Men are sucked into this fantasy world of perfect-looking women who can do literally everything and anything their heart desires. And naturally, without knowing the consequences, they indulge in it quite regularly, especially if they don't have a partner at the time. What they don't know is that watching porn really distorts their view of women and sex. And when it comes time to have sex with a real woman, it just doesn't compare. At the same time, boys aged 12 to 30 have grown up in an age where infinite videos of whatever porn they desire are accessible within minutes. They see these extreme portrayals of porn and don't realize that the slapping, choking, and rough acts had consent beforehand. They don't see that the actress had to starve herself and douche hours before the anal scenes. They don't understand that not all women squirt. They don't understand that not all women orgasm from penetration. As a woman, every guy I have had sex with has done things to me without my consent. Choked me, slapped me, anally raped me, said degrading things to me, made me throw up and gag when I gave them head. The works. Sex isn't the same for me anymore. Sex isn't a safe place to be intimate with a partner. Sex is what a partner does to me. Sex is where a partner will compare me to hundreds of women he has seen on the screen. Sex is where I am disrespected. Reddit opinion 13. I've had a porn addiction and suffered through 3+ years of porn-induced erectile dysfunction, heavily lowered confidence, and was a no-fat member years ago. I also had poor eating habits, not exercising enough, not sleeping enough, etc., etc. In my educated experience, porn is just another cake or another sitting on the couch all day when you should be exercising. I found that it is very difficult to stay away from porn permanently even now. But just like everything in life, just like a cake, sitting all day or pulling an all-nighter, if you use moderation, then there won't be any problems. I now watch porn maybe once a week, 10 minutes or so, as a treat and rarely twice a week, and I get crazy erect for sex and porn and have no negative side effects that I can see or that I used to have, and I can control myself to stop after the 10 minutes. Processed sugars and processed foods play no importance in our lives, but it's still nice to enjoy on occasion at a restaurant or baking at home. Sitting in bed watching YouTube all day for a day of the week, when one normally exercises and so forth, is still very enjoyable with no negative consequences. It is important to stop fixating on individual problems like these, because it makes it more difficult to be healthy as you feel guilty when doing something rather than enjoying it and moderating. We need to focus on using moderation so that we can healthily still have that slice of cake with ice cream. Watch that 2 movies back to back, still watch that video of porn, and still drink extra coffee for that buzz. We must stop guilt, tripping ourselves, and start enjoying healthy moderation and creating a healthy relationship with those unhealthy treats. I only say all this because I am walking evidence of how this has worked wonders on my health, happiness, and relationships. Reddit opinion 14. Because for some reason, somewhere along the lines, It became borderline socially acceptable. Everybody says, everybody does it, and the industry is safe. No one is ever abused. Now you can't even fucking escape porn in TV and movies. Do you ever try to watch something on Netflix only for them to start fucking on camera for 5 minutes? The truth is porn is completely destructive to your psyche, and the industry being safe is total bullshit. The industry is full of human trafficking, abuse, exploitation, desperation. Mostly of women, but definitely of guys. And it's all sealed and locked away on video that the actress or actor has zero right to. The company now owns the exclusive video rights to whatever experience they may have had. Fuck porn. It's not funny, damaging to children and adults, and the industry is not some magical place of freedom of expression. It is a demonic hellhole filled with filth and victims. Too long didn't read. Prostitution isn't legal, but you can pay someone to fuck you and film it, acquiring exclusive rights to their video performance. Reddit Opinion 15. I know there's a debate about whether porn addiction even exists, and I acknowledge that I'm not a professional in this area and haven't studied it, but I can tell you my story. Before I was married, I watched a lot of porn. Probably not an extreme amount, but on any given day, I was more likely to view something pornographic than not. This continued into my marriage. In the early years of our marriage, I still watched a fair bit of porn, and to be honest, our sex life wasn't always that great, especially if I'd been watching porn recently. I love my wife very much, but she's a real woman with a real body, and sometimes I prefer the amazing bodies I could have online. I say this to my shame. Anyway, I never wanted to watch porn while I was married. I just kept doing it through lack of self-control. So over the 8 years of our marriage, I watched less and less. Finally, about 18 months ago, I ditched it altogether. I've watched nothing pornographic in that time, and I've even tried to avoid lingering over sexy images that I come across. I'm like a recovering alcoholic. One pice would be one too many. This is the result. Over those same 8 years, my wife has had 2 children and put on 15 kilograms. She's now 46 years old, and probably a random person would think she is less attractive now, but not me. To me, she gets more beautiful and more sexy every year. We have had the hottest sex of our marriage in the last year. Now, even an accidental touch from her while she is sleeping next to me can turn me on in a way that I would not have believed 5 or 6 years ago. Is any of this related to porn? I don't honestly know, but I can tell you one thing. I'm not returning to it. Not now, and hopefully never. Edit. I'm just clarifying that my wife is 46 years old, not 46 kilograms. Thanks for sticking with it to the end. I really appreciate that. Hope you enjoyed the video. A thumbs up from you would be great. Feel free to write your thoughts in the comments. It's interesting for everyone. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to stay up to date. Have a great day and see you soon.